Hey world, how's it going? Azren here. Hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to make a video today talking about preparing for language proficiency tests. So whether it's like a DELF in French, whether it's IELTS or TOEFL in English, whether it's like, I don't know, DELE in Spanish, HSK in Chinese, whatever. Wanted to give some general pieces of advice for doing well in these tests. Now, number one, this is the most important, which is you need to know the test. Absolutely most important thing. So you need to know, how long do you have to write it? Is it written? Is it mostly listening? Is it speaking? Is it online? Is it in person? Right? Is every single part of the test worth the same amount of marks, right? Like, what does the teacher or what does the examiner look for? Like, everything. Is it multiple choice? Like, everything you can possibly know, you've got to study in advance and try and know it before you go and write the test. That is the most important thing. On a similar note, understanding the test also matters because you need to make sure you're taking the right level of test. So often in language proficiency tests, there's different levels, right? HSK has 6 levels, right? DELF and DELE have 6 levels, right? There's different levels, and you need to make sure you understand what the levels mean and you're going for the right one. Otherwise, you're going to study, get to the test and go, holy cow, this is too hard. Or, holy cow, this is really easy. I should have taken a higher level. And then you've just gone and wasted a bunch of time. And so going and making sure that you take the right test, understand your level, take the right level of test really matters. And this brings you to point number 3. And again, these all tie together, I think. They're all related, but it can often help to have someone guide you through the study process. In other words, it can really help to have someone, to pay someone some money who has some experience, who can say, hey, here's how to prepare for this part of the test. Here's how to prepare for this part of the test. Here is a practice, an old test. Let's write it, I'll correct it as if I was the examiner. Let's do that together. Let's do that over and over. Let me help you prepare. That is so valuable, and in my opinion, I know it costs money, I know it can be expensive. And if you can't afford that, respect, no problem, it's okay. But if you can save some money, right, 6 months, a year, save some money up and pay for that, pay for some kind of a course to do that, worth it in my opinion. I've done it myself for a DELF proficiency test and it was so worth it. I probably would have failed the test without it. So that is a major thing when it comes to preparing. Now, the final thing I want to say about preparing for language tests, and this is something that is so left field, this is so bizarre and so strange, and I'm willing to bet that nobody or very few people have said this before, and I don't even know I 100% endorse or support this, but it's definitely an option, is going to write the test when you're not fully prepared on purpose, expect to fail the test, and then go rewrite it a second time. Now, sounds super strange. You might be thinking, what the heck? Why would one do that? Well, here's kind of the logic behind it. If you're someone like me, myself, when I was in school, when I was in university, when I was in high school, when I was in school in general, I'd study for tests and I knew everything really well. I'd go write the test and still do really poorly. Not because I didn't know the material. No, I usually knew the material, but I'm really bad at writing tests. I'm just not good at it. And if you're not good at writing tests and actually displaying your knowledge on a test, like, boy, you can know everything amazingly well, but still get a bad mark. And so, me personally, I know that when I wrote tests in school, I'd be like, oh, if I could rewrite, not necessarily that test, but even a test structured the same way that was structured, if I could rewrite that, man, I know I would do so much better. Or even sometimes, I would do really poorly in the beginning of the class, then I'd understand how the teacher likes to write their tests, and then boom, I do well in the rest of the tests. And so, for me personally, it's interesting when I think about language proficiency tests that I could take, personally, my own advice to myself, in a lot of ways, is prepare in advance, go write it once, expect to fail, write it a second time. Because I know myself. I know there's a good chance there's a good chance I'll fail the first time I write it, only because I've seen my history, all my school history of what happens when I study for tests. I go into the test and what happens after. So, don't know if I encourage that for everyone, because a lot of people are not like that. Yeah, but I know myself and I kind of am, so that's kind of the advice I give to myself for that. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys liked the video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.